This video was brought to you by the ILC.
Hello there once again. Welcome back to our Exam 1 review series. This time we're looking at problem 12. Now this particular problem is not actually on the review, but it's very similar to something you would see on the review. The problem is, using this graph on the left, we're going to be graphing -2 times f of x plus 1 and then plus 3 on the end. If you're given a problem like this, the first thing we need to do is write down some of the points on this graph. The first point that I see is over here on the lower left side. Looks like that's -2, -2. Write that down first. Then another point would be 1, 2. And then the point furthest to the right is 3, 1. Now we're going to modify these points based on these things that are written in this function. I want to call your attention to 3 numbers in particular. First, the number that is inside the parentheses next to x. Second, the number that is outside the parentheses and is multiplied. And third, the number on the right that says plus 3, that's also outside the parentheses. We'll start with the plus 1 inside the parentheses. Now, if you have a number that is plus inside the parentheses, that means we move x to the left by whatever number is next to the plus sign. So in a way, it's almost like you're subtracting the number that is inside the parentheses from the x values. If there's a minus inside, we're moving x to the right by that number. So to our points, all 3 of them, let's move x to the left by 1. So if we're moving to the left, we are subtracting 1 from the x values. So that if we begin with -2, -2, we take 1 away from the x, this becomes -3. However, the y does not change yet. We are going to leave that at -2. To the second point, we'll start with 1 as x, but again subtract 1. That makes it 0. The y, which is 2, again, does not change. And to the third point, take 1 away from the x value. 3 minus 1 gives 2. The y value, again, does not change. That's going to be our first move. Now let's move on to our second piece of information, which is the -2 times on the outside of the parentheses. Now, if you have -2 times f of x, that means we are going to multiply all the y values by -2. Okay? Now, in this case, we don't touch the x values. We only change the y values. We're done messing with x now. So now we'll do times -2 to y, and we will do it to all 3 points. So our first point, which was -3, -2, the x doesn't change. It's still -3. But -2 times -2 on the y gives 4. To our second point, we have 0, 2. X does not change, still 0. But 2 times -2 gives -4. And now, for the third point, 2, 1. The 2 does not change, but the 1 times -2 gives -2. That's going to be our second move. Now for our third move. We have a plus 3 on the outside. So if you have plus 3 on the outside, that means we move up 3 Of course, up and down being y means we're going to move up 3 in the y. Minus would mean to move down 3. Now, let's go up 3 in the y, and let's do that to all the points. So we have negative 3, 4. We move it up by 3, so the x does not change, but the y goes up from 4 plus 3 is 7. Next point, 0 times negative 4. X does not change, but the y is going to go negative 4 plus 3 gives negative 1. And then our final point, 2 comma negative 2. The 2 doesn't change, and now negative 2 plus 3 gives positive 1. So after each of these three operations, we'll have different points, but the points we're going to graph are going to be this last set of points we just found. Now let's graph them. First, negative 3, 7. I'll make a mark over here, negative 3. And then 7 would be very, very high up on the graph, perhaps all the way at the upper left. 0, negative 1 would be here, and 2, 1 would be here. Now that we have 3 points, we just connect the dots. Just like the other dots we started with were connected. And so this graph in green is going to be negative 2 times fx plus 1 plus 3. This is the original graph with all 3 transformations applied to it. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again soon.